What's going on, guys? Quinn69 here. How you guys doing? Today I'm going to bring you guys a guide, a long, much requested guide about kind of how to play the game when you first at 70, how to kind of gear up, and what spec you should be playing. And as you can see, okay, let's just get rid of all my Paragon points, just so you guys can see here that I'm not. We'll put 25% movement speed in because I'm a scumbag. Just its movement speed. As you can see, I had no Paragon points, except. So I'm not using my overpowered Paragon to be OP. This is like I've just hit 70, and I'm a massive noob at the game, and I'm in full yellows, rocking around with my full yellows. As you can see here, you know, this is all. We're gonna show you guys a pretty sick setup. Well, like, it's kind of like an itemization almost. It's not really my. I mean, the skills I'm using are pretty overpowered. Don't get me wrong. I'm using some pretty overpowered skills. But it's more about the itemization that makes me kind of available. Like, you'll see, I'm just going to destroy the content. Like, there's nothing much in Torment 1 that I can't just... I don't even really need to drop pillars. A really huge note, something huge to note about the spec is... you'll notice I won't use pillar that often. It's not really ideal for... You want to be just using Exploding Palm all the time. Exploding Palm is your most efficient ability. Exploding Palm some more. Just use Exploding Palm. Your last thing you want to be doing. We got a goblin here. Oh my god, I got no epiphany for this goblin. So we're gonna try and blow this goblin up with Exploding Palm if we can here. Boom. Goblin gets one shot. That's what we're talking about, boys. This is Torment 1, by the way. I did test this. I was testing it in T3 and T4, and it did clear it. Wasn't as efficient though. Definitely can clear T2 really efficiently, but I decided to show you guys in T1 just because it looks more overpowered in T1. And this is the content that you're going to want to farm T1 early at the beginning. Because you're going to remember, you're going to start off when you're first at 70. When you're first at 70, guys, you want to start off, farm Act 1 bounties. I haven't found, as you can see here, my character he hasn't even got a Ring of Royal Grandeur. But initially, you just want to farm some Act 1 bounties to get some keys. Hopefully, you'll get your Ring of Royal Grandeur. That is a ring that reduces the set bonuses by 1. Really overpowered ring, and you're going to be using it in pretty much every single spec. This is like I can think of one spec that doesn't use it, and it's a pretty complicated one and not even that strong. All the best specs run with Ring of Royal Grandeur, and that's why you're gonna want to farm it, you know. But we're just gonna show you the gameplay of this build. So yeah, when you're playing, just make sure you maintain sweeping wind at all times. It actually does significant damage. Put EP once everything is EP. That's when you can drop a EP. I mean, that's when you can drop a pillar. Otherwise, you don't really want to actually ever drop pillars, because pillars are going to drain your spirit really fast. If you try and play the setup, dropping pillars, you're not going to do well. It's all about managing your spirit. That's what we're doing. We're just managing our spirit. Like, these guys will die to the dot, as you can see. They will explode there. And like right here, we're going to try and blow up the ghost with. Okay, we kind of failed a little bit, but he died. Cool. Just EP some more. And even on the Rift Guardian, you're going to want to EP. You're going to see how... I don't know if I should... we'll go all the way to the Rift Guardian. Why not? We'll show you guys how to kind of just play the spec. Epiphany, kind of only use Epiphany whenever you see a rare pack. So, there's no rare pack here. Whenever you see a rare pack, just enable Epiphany instantly. That'll just mean you're immune to Frozen. You're immune to any annoying affix. You know, you won't really... See, I saw a rare pack. Pop Epiphany. That means you've got infinite spirit. You can drop as many pillars as you want. I'm just going to start dropping heaps of pillars. And pillars do a crap ton of damage. They're just not as efficient. So yeah, we've got another rare pack here. Still have a little bit of Epiphany left. Cool. Okay, we failed there. We failed. Screw it. Doesn't matter. Keep going. Just chuck EPs on everything. Pretty much this is the gameplay. I can't really tell. I mean, I don't really want to waste too much time on this. But yeah, just spam Exploding Palm, guys. That's the moral of the story. Maintain sweeping wind, spam Exploding Palm, pop Epiphany whenever you have Epiphany up. You're just gonna absolutely destroy the content. All right, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the itemization, because it's not really. You gotta remember, guys. It's not really about like. Lower, it's all about how you itemize. It's not about the spec. I mean, okay, this carries. Don't get me wrong, this carries, but otherwise, it's more about how you itemize. Okay, let me quickly just tell you what to do with gear as well. So when you don't just instantly salvage your yellows, because as you can see, I'm wearing yellows. These could all be potential upgrades. Go over every single one, and we'll tell you how to itemize your gear. Don't do what I'm doing and just salvage. And when you're gambling, guys. Obviously, there's other specs. I've got guides out there for more advanced specs, but I would suggest for starting Season 2 or starting a new character in general, always gamble for some Wuku first. So that's some Wuku helmet, some Wuku shoulders, and some Wuku gloves. So what you would do first is you would gamble gloves until you found a legendary. Doesn't matter what kind of gloves. If you found a legendary which was an upgrade, I would use that. I would stop gambling gloves, and I'd try and get I'd try and get legendary shoulders next, and then I'd try and get legendary helm until you've got full legendaries, and then keep gambling. Just keep gambling these 3 slots until you get some Wuku set. Don't care about anything else. Just keep zerging gloves, shoulders, and helmet until you get some Wuku. Let's see if we can get one. No, we didn't get one. That's unfortunate. But whatever. Just needed to make that point. But otherwise, if you want to know more about the other builds, check out my other guides. I've got heaps of guides for T6 speed farming guides. I've got heaps of guides for, you guys can, but I would suggest gambling 3p Sun Wuku straight away. That's your first priority when you're spending. When I say gambling, I mean blood shards. That's a common term I use. So yeah, what you spend your blood shards on, always gloves, helmet, and shoulders. Get some Wukus. Once you've got some Wukus, then you can gamble for other stuff. But we're not going to talk about that. That's slightly more advanced. We're just gonna go over the basic guide. Okay, so itemization. How do you want to gear this guy? How do you want to gear him? Okay, I'm gonna go over the important pieces of gear and what you need. Okay, so crit rings. So you want rings which have crit and crit hit damage, and then dexterity is a bonus. Crit hit damage and dexterity. Amazing. That's all you want in your rings. In both your rings, crit hit damage, dexterity. It doesn't matter. Multipliers are key. You kind of want crit hit damage, and then if it's got dexterity, otherwise we don't really care about anything else. Obviously, secondary resistance. So see how it says secondary, 128 physical resistance. That's really important due to the fact that we're going to be using Harmony, a monk talent. We'll explain Harmony at the end. But yeah, secondary resists, crits, but don't prioritize secondaries by any means. Crit on rings for sure. Okay, gloves. 10% crit, dexterity. Does it have it? Yes, it does. It's good. It's got secondary resistance as well. So that's all we're really worried about. Shoulders, don't really matter. I've just got some random pair of junk shoulders on. It doesn't matter. As long as it's got, secondary res and it's got 4 stats on it, then we're good. That's it. Shoulders, done. Helmet, 6% crit. If it's got a socket, chuck a diamond in the socket. Diamond is cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction helps you survive. It helps you clear rifts faster with dashing strike and insight. Cooldown reduction in the helmet. But otherwise, it doesn't matter. The only thing we really care about at the end of the day, does it have crit? Does it have dexterity? Yes, it's good. It's good. Use it. Necklace. Don't worry too much about the 2 things you're focused on in the necklace is crit and crit damage, because that's a multiplier and it's overpowered. Obviously, dexterity would be very nice, and then I've also got my corresponding, because I'm using lightning skills, I've got lightning damage on my necklace. Awesome, brilliant necklace. So whenever you're going over your necklaces, so remember to check every single yellow, because yellows are easily better than lots of legendaries. We'll actually go over a couple of examples as to why. Like look at this necklace here, okay guys? Okay, this yellow has more damage and it's got lightning damage, because lightning damage does not show up on the sheet damage. So this is a downgrade in every aspect. I mean, if you were to roll the life per second on this necklace to 20% lightning, it would be slightly better. But in this case here, just default, this yellow crappy necklace takes a dump on this Traveler's Pledge, and that's what we're trying to show you guys. Just to give you another example. Actually, we'll go over the weapons later. Okay. For braces, does it have crit? Yes. Does it have dexterity? Yes. Does it have lightning damage? That's amazing if it has. It's got 3 of the best stats in the game. Crit, dexterity, and then your elemental damage. So braces, really important to get that. Really, really important. Belts, we don't really care too much about. Does it have 4 stats? Yes. Does it have secondary resist? Yes. Okay, it's a good belt. Sweet as. Okay, really, really important. Chest, does it have 3 sockets? Does it have 3 sockets, boys? If it has 3 sockets, then it's good. Does it have dexterity? Even better. Does it have even secondary resist? Oh my god, this is a nice chest. Very nice chest. It's got 3 sockets. It's got main stat. It's got secondary. Cool. Okay, pants. I'm not using optimal pants. These pants are not optimal. You would not want all resist. You would want secondary resist. But this pair has this, whatever. It's got 2 sockets. The main thing, does it have 2 sockets? Does it have dexterity? Yes. Obviously, I would like to have secondary if I could, but whatever. It doesn't have secondary. Cool. Okay. Same with feet. Feet are the same as shoulders. The same as belt. They don't really matter. It's just stats. Does it have dexterity? Does it have secondary resist? Yes. And then whatever else it comes with. If it has vitality, that's nice. Okay. Now, probably the most important thing. The most important thing. Everything that you're multiplying. You're stacking all this crit. You're stacking all this dexterity. Everything is based off your weapon, okay? And now, with this build here, with this starter build I'm showing you guys, okay, you want the slowest. You just ignore the damage range. Ignore the damage range, guys. So see where it says 3,442? I mean, ignore the damage per second number, should I say. Oh my god, I totally... So you're worried about the damage range. Okay, so the DPS of the weapon is... Just ignore it. You don't want to know about that. See, damage per second, crappy number. The number under... See where it says damage per second? The number under that says 3,184 to 3,700. That's what we're worried about. Everything scales off those numbers there. So, let's give you a quick example. Okay, what do you guys think? Is this grandfather an upgrade or a downgrade? It's a downgrade, guys. It's a downgrade. Look at the see that? So the DPS is higher of the grandfather. Don't get me wrong. The DPS of the grandfather is higher, okay? But if you look at the damage range, so the 2552 to 3500, and you compare that to my yellow. I've got my flipping yellow mace on. My yellow mace has higher low end and higher high end. Everything about this other mace is better, guys. Like, this one has slightly more dexterity, but whatever. The damage range is higher. It's gonna do more damage. When your exploding palm is grabbing the numbers, so when your exploding palm, see how it says 1.2k over 9 seconds and then 2.7k explosion. Okay, it is grabbing directly. It's ignoring the DPS. It doesn't care about the DPS. It's grabbing straight from that damage range number, and that's something you guys need to really realize when you're choosing weapon upgrades, because a lot of people will just straight up put on downgrades. This would just hurt my character. My sheet damage goes up because it has attack speed, but we do not care about attack speed, as we do not have generators. We only regenerate spirit passively, and we're just spending it. So we want to be really efficient. So that is key, guys. The weapon. It doesn't necessarily. Slower weapons will have higher. Naturally, maces will have really high damage range. Maces are really good. But in saying that, if you got like a sick ass two-hander and it was faster, don't think it's a downgrade. Look at the damage range. Say the damage range was higher on this weapon, then yes, it would be an upgrade. But otherwise, it's damage range, guys. Okay, and also another thing, legendary rings and stuff. Okay, like, they're not the be-all and end-all, guys. If it's legendary, don't just equip it. This is just blatant downgrade. It's got no dexterity. It's got no crit damage. Throw that trash on the ground. Throw that trash on the ground. You know, like, attack speed based rings. I mean, even if this was a damage upgrade, so even if it said increases my damage, I wouldn't use it, because it's just attack speed. Attack speed is bad. We do not want attack speed. Attack speed is inefficient. We are passively regenerating spirit. Throw that on the ground. Throw all the stuff on the ground. It's all bad. We're just worried about the multipliers, guys. All the multipliers I've covered, that's what we're worried about, guys, okay? That's what we're worried about. Okay, let's quickly go over the skills real quick. Skills are really... There's a few important ones, and there's a few ones that don't really matter too much. Okay, let's go over the important ones first. Shocking Grasp, okay, guys? This is the bread and butter. This is the button you want to press to kill everything. In the ideal situation, you're never going to use Wave of Light or whatever you choose. Wave of Light is just whatever. Wave of Light is just something to, if you've got nothing to kind of cleave or explode, that's when you resort to using Wave of Light. This is very expensive, and it's going to cost you a lot of spirit, and you're going to need to use like Epiphany Insight. Say you're just finding one Rift Guardian, and he's got no ads whatsoever. You're going to need to use Insight and spam Wave of Light. But this is your juice, man. 2700 damage, and it spreads to 2 targets. So when you press it, you get 6000% explosion damage pretty much. And then on top of that, it also has a 1.2k bleed, and that bleed will be enough to set off little mobs. So you're just going to go around, you know, putting your EPs up. Once you press it like 3 times, generally like the dot damage would have ticked a few times, and then boom, everything explodes. And you guys saw that in the gameplay. Exploding Palm. This is the most crazy, like, for the amount of spirit you spend, 40 spirit, it's the most crazy scaling in the game. You can't get better than this. And it works even better in groups. If you're just going around putting EPs on stuff, and then you've got like a wizard or like a demon or whatever doing damage that just pops the EPs for you, oh my god, juicy, man, juicy boys. Exploding Palm, Shocking Grasp. Okay, Mantra of Healing, Circular Breathing. Okay, it's a defensive mantra. You can press it defensively, and it will give you like a 62k shield, I believe. Yeah. And it gives you 3 spirit regen. Remember, we haven't got any generators. This is giving you spirit regen, really OP. So you're basically using it for 3 spirit regen. Okay, Sweeping Wind, Inner Storm. Okay, the damage is actually quite significant. You'll see that the damage will actually kill mobs by itself, just from the 315 per second. But that's not what we're using it for. It's for the 8 spirit per second. That is why we use it. You get 8 spirit back per second when it's at 3 stacks. You do need a little bit of crit to get the stacks up, so initially you may want to use, like, say you have absolutely no crit on your gear whatsoever, you can opt for air ally, just for passive spirit regen. But the second you've got more than 15% crit on your gear, just put this bad boy on, maintain this, 8 spirit per second, really, you need to maintain this. If you do not maintain this, you will just run out of spirit, and you'll just be standing there like a spaz, just doing no damage whatsoever. So make sure you maintain this in the rotation. I'm using Dashing Strike Quicksilver. This is just purely for mobility, as you want to be efficient and quick when you're going around, you know, killing mobs. I'm using Quicksilver specifically because if you look at the cooldown of Dashing Strike here, it's really slow, and this gives you 1 surplus stack. So when you're fighting, when you're sitting around fighting mobs and stuff, when you're attacking mobs, you've got time for your Dashing Strike to recharge. You've got that extra surplus stack. So like when you're fighting a Rift Guardian or fighting, a rare pack, you're gonna have that extra stack to regen. So you're gonna have more uptime generally. I mean, if you're using it on cooldown all the time, then maybe you can consider a different rune. But I like Quicksilver the best when I've got no CDR. It feels it's always there when you need it, and that's what I like about it. Epiphany Insight. This is purely for using it on yellow packs, so yellow packs, and using it on Rift Guardians. You can use it on rare packs, the blue packs as well, but you won't need it that often. But yeah, it's mainly for killing Rift Guardians. It just gives you crazy spirit regen when you pop this. When you pop this, you can just spam. I mean, this is without, like, look at it. I can spam it, and that's without the extra 8 spirit regen from using my Sweeping Wind. So you can see, just spamming pillars will get shit done. That will work. That's a lot of DPS. So that's what you use it for. It's for killing Rift Guardians and for killing like really durable yellow packs that are just being really annoying, or goblins and stuff like killing goblins. This is really nice. Okay, passives. These are mandatory. Exalted Soul. 4 spirit regen, also gives you max spirit, really nice. We don't have a generator, that's why we use it. Chant of Resonance, same thing. We don't really care about the mantra reduction. The mantra reduction is nice. I mean, it means my mantra basically costs nothing. And you will use this occasionally, like say you're on like 1% life for some reason, and you're dying, or your partner's dying. It means you can actually heal them. You can put an absorb shield up, and then also the life regen will just naturally make your life regen when the shield's up. And you can spam that if you don't want to lose your pool of reflection, or if you don't want to die. It's kind of nice. But you're mainly using it for the 4 spirit regen. Momentum. Okay, this brings up a good point. You should always have this momentum up. If you do not have this buff up, that means you're killing mobs too slow. That means you're killing the content too slow, and that means you're too far in. You need to go take it back a notch and take it back to take it back a notch. So say you're farming Torment 3, and your momentum's hardly ever up because you're standing there fighting mobs for ages. That's bad. That means you need to turn the content back, and that means you're not going to be farming efficiently. You want to be farming content quickly, because it's all about how much content you can farm. It's not about how hard the content is. I mean, it's kind of like a design flaw by Blizzard. I prefer that the content was more challenging, and you got more rewards for it. But that's not the case. It's all about how fast you can clear it, and that's why momentum's kind of really powerful. 20% damage, that should be up all the time. Maybe it might drop on the Rift Guardian. That's the one time. Okay, that's okay. If it drops on the Rift Guardian, whatever. We don't really care. Okay, Harmony. A lot of people don't understand this. Let's explain this to you guys as simply as possible. It's really quite a simple ability once you kind of understand it. So we won't even read the tooltip. Let's just show you how it works. So basically what it does is, okay, let's take off all this gear here. Let's take off all this jazz. Let's give you an example. Okay, let's give you guys an example here. So all it does is it gives you 40% extra ore resist from your secondary resist sets. Okay, so we've got 8 resist. Okay, we'll just ignore that. Once we put these gloves on, okay, it has 122 fire resist. What you're going to see is my fire resist will go up by 122 plus 40% on my fire resist. My fire resist is going to double dip, and then you're going to see my ore resist also get 40%. So you're going to see, yeah, watch this. So my fire resist, it's got 122 plus the 40%, and then all of the other resists have gone up by, look, it's gone up by, because we went up by like 50. And then as we put all this other gear on, which has secondary res, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to start to balance out. And you're going to see, look at my ore resist now, guys. If we just equip all the stuff back, look at how high my ore resist goes. And that is because of Harmony. We take Harmony off. We take this skill off here. Put it from this whatever. Look at my resist now. You can see how much Harmony is carrying and how important getting secondary resistor. And you gotta remember, you're gonna be using Harmony as a baseline ability. Harmony is a baseline ability for almost every spec in the game. It's because it's overpowered. It's the one thing that monks have that it really made me want to play a monk. It means you've got to be really specific in the gear. I mean, it means it's harder to find gear because you're always looking for gear with secondary resists, and you know, it used to be even harder back in the day. We're not going to talk about that though. You used to have to stack one resist instead of, but now it's any resist, and you get 40 to all. Really OP passive. We'll quickly go over Paragons. It's not really important. So you can see I haven't spec'd any of my Paragons to kind of give you guys a real... It's like a Paragon level 0. So what you want to do is you want to cap your movement speed. A lot of people don't understand this as well. So with movement speed, so all you want to do, guys, is say you've got 10% movement speed on boots. There's a maximum of 25% passive movement speed. Okay, guys? So if we've got 10% movement speed on boots, that means we can have 15 in Paragons. So 15 in Paragons. And then also... if you've capped down your movement speed, then just go full dexterity. More damage, boys. More damage. More damage. You know, generally with this spec, you're going to have less crit hit damage because you're going to be using a two-hander, then crit chance, then cooldown reduction, and that doesn't really matter for the last one because if you're at this Paragon, you should know how to play the game at this point. Early game, Aura Resist is nice. Aura Resist is very nice. It doesn't scale off anything. It is just straight Aura Resist talents. Very nice. Then you want to go armor percentage, then life per second, then life percent. Cool. Early game, RCR is huge. Very nice, especially for this spec. Getting RCR is really nice. I would highly suggest going RCR first, then going area damage, because area damage is really overpowered. We're not going to talk about how it works, but it's really overpowered. That's all you need to know, guys. Area damage, OP. Okay, guys, area damage, OP. I'm going to be making another guide, a mechanic guide about area damage to kind of describe how that works. There's something I have not covered. What was it? I did forget something, guys. I did forget something, unfortunately. So it was in regards to gems, okay, guys? I just want to show you the difference between scaling of gems, okay? So a Marquis Diamond in comparison to a Flawless Royal Diamond. So 62 Aura Resist versus 78 Aura Resist. There's not much difference at all. They're very similar. So leveling this up doesn't really matter. Okay, you compare a Marquis Emerald 62 dexterity to a Flawless Royal 280 dexterity. Okay, that is a huge difference. 62, and if you compare 62 Aura Resist to 62 dexterity, the Aura Resist beats it out by a long shot. Look at a piece of gear here. This piece of gear here has 90 Aura Resist here, has 400 dexterity. So they are not equal stats. The amount of value you get out of one diamond and compared to a value you get out of an emerald, diamonds beat out emeralds by a long shot in the early games. Obviously, once you get to the Flawless Royal, once you start getting these gems, okay, that's acceptable to put those in your gear. They're really nice. But until you get to these final form gems, just use the Marquis Diamonds. Use the Imperial Diamonds. Don't even mess around with these. Obviously, in your weapon, you want to use your best possible emeralds you have available to you. I'm just using a crap one just to kind of simulate like a low-level experience. So yeah, if you have, just use whatever your best emerald is in your weapon, and then once you finally get Flawless Royals, put Flawless Royals on your gear most of the time, unless you think you need the defense. But early and mid game, diamonds, guys, they're really huge. There is a small niche situation, like say you're farming normal mode and you have absolutely no need for survivability, then you can perhaps put the dexterity gems in your gear for the very minor increase of dexterity. But overall, I'd say it's not worth it. I'd say just use diamonds. And then in regards to helmets, guys, diamonds. Diamonds are cooldown reduction, as you can see there. Helmet reduces cooldown of all skills by 11%. So cooldown reduction is your Epiphany cooldown, and it is your dash cooldown, which are both very important. But otherwise, guys, that's it for me. That is the level 70 base guide. But yeah, be sure to check out my other guides on the YouTube channel. So say you're already past this point, and you want to kind of work towards something more, to say an in-game build, you can definitely check out those other guides. But otherwise, guys, make sure you check out my Twitch as well. That's twitch.tv/Quinton69. Otherwise, have a good day, guys. Hope you enjoyed the guide. I flippin' love you guys. Thanks for watching.